Hey everyone, welcome back to On the Roll with Matt. Lately, one of the most meaningful courses I've taken in my BSc has been on spirituality and addiction. And one of the books that really stayed with me is Addiction and Grace by Gerald G. May. In that book, May talks about addiction not only as substance use, but as deep attachment, and he connects that to freedom, love, and grace. Before this course, I thought I understood addiction pretty well. I understood the obvious side of it. I understood substances. I understood destructive choices and patterns. But this course, and especially Gerald May's writing, made me look at it in a much deeper way. He helped me see that addiction is not always just about drugs or alcohol. Sometimes it is about whatever we cling to for comfort, control, identity, or relief. Sometimes it is the thing we turn to because we are hurting, afraid, empty, or trying to survive. That really changed my thinking. Because once you see addiction that way, it is no longer just something you look at from a distance. It becomes something that speaks to the human heart. It shows how easy it is for all of us to hold too tightly to things that were never meant to carry us. And for me, this became very personal. Living with a progressive disability has taught me a lot about limits. It has taught me about grief, fear, frustration, and uncertainty. But this course helped me see something else too. Sometimes the deepest struggle is not only the pain itself, sometimes it is the way we hold on to what we think we need in order to be okay. For me, that can look like attachment to control, attachment to independence, attachment to the life I thought I would have, attachment to the idea that strength means handling everything on my own. And when those things begin to slip, it can shake you deeply. Gerald May helped me see that addiction can show up in ways people do not always notice. It can show up in the need to be in control, in the need to be productive, in the need to be seen a certain way, in the need to avoid weakness, sadness, or dependence. It can show up in anything we lean on more than truth, love, and grace. That is one reason this book stood out to me so much. It is spiritual, but it is also deeply connected to psychology. May does not treat addiction like it is just bad behavior or a lack of discipline. He talks about how it affects the whole person: mind, body, heart, and spirit. That really matters because it means healing has to go deeper too. And honestly, I think that applies to disability as well, because disability is not only physical, it shapes how you think, how you cope, how you see yourself, how you carry fear, how you understand dignity, how you deal with change, how you hold on, and how you let go. This course helped me realize that some of the strongest addictions are the ones nobody can see. Sometimes it is addiction to control. Sometimes it is addiction to self protection. Sometimes it is addiction to being needed, being strong, being successful, or being okay all the time. And the truth is, those things can quietly rule your life. But what touched me most in Gerald May's work is that he does not stop at addiction. He keeps bringing it back to grace. That word grace has hit me in a much deeper way because of this course. Grace means I do not have to save myself by holding everything together. Grace means I do not have to pretend I am stronger than I am. Grace means God meets me in the places where I am weak, tired, afraid, or undone. Not after I fix myself, not after I prove myself, not after I finally become enough on my own. Right there. That has changed the way I think not only about addiction, but about disability too. Because there are days when living with disability feels heavy. There are days when faith does not feel loud or victorious. It feels quiet. It feels like surrender. It feels like saying, God, I cannot carry this the way I want to, but I am still here. And maybe that is where grace does some of its deepest work. This course helped me see surrender in a different way, not as defeat, not as weakness, but as honesty, as trust, as letting God into the places where pride, fear, and pain have tried to take over. Another thing that stayed with me is this. Gerald May shows that addiction is part of the human struggle. It may look different from person to person, but all of us know what it means to cling. All of us know what it means to chase things that cannot fully heal us. All of us know what it is to want relief, control, comfort, or escape. That truth humbled me, and it gave me more compassion. Compassion for people with visible addictions, compassion for people with hidden addictions, compassion for people whose pain comes out in messy ways, and compassion for myself too, because healing is not always fast. It is not always clean. It is not always easy to explain. Sometimes it is slow, quiet, painful, sacred work. So when I think about this course now, I do not just think about it as another class for my degree. I think about it as something that changed how I see people, how I see suffering, how I see myself, how I see my disability, and how I see my need for God. It reminded me that the opposite of addiction is not just stopping something. At the deepest level, the opposite is freedom, freedom to love, freedom to trust, freedom to stop worshiping control, freedom to stop measuring our value by what we can do, fix, or carry, freedom to live with open hands instead of clenched fists. That does not mean the struggle disappears. It does not mean pain disappears. It does not mean disability disappears. But it does mean those things do not get the final word. Grace does. And for me, that is what has been so transforming. This course did not just teach me about addiction, it taught me something about being human. It taught me something about weakness. It taught me something about the soul, and it reminded me that even in the hardest places, God is still present. There is still meaning, there is still dignity, there is still hope, and there is still grace. Thank you so much for coming back and listening. It really means a lot to me that you would take the time to be here, hear my heart, and walk through these conversations with me. This topic has impacted me deeply, and I hope something in it encouraged you, challenged you, or helped you feel a little less alone in your own journey. If this video spoke to you, please take a moment to like, comment, and share it with someone who may need it too. Your support truly helps more than you know, and it helps these conversations reach more people. Thank you again for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.